Hello children, welcome to a new lecture. I hope that everything is or everybody is doing good. As in today's lecture we are discussing, we are into again a new chapter from the history. It is chapter number 5. In chapter number 4, we have already learned about when what the books and burials tell us. We have learned about Rig Vedas, what is Veda, what is Rig Veda, and what how were those times the rishis and munis, how they used to live while living in the villages in those times. Then we have learned about how the people were being described in those times, and also we have learned about certain megaliths. What is a megalith? Okay, which kind of megaliths they used to build. And we have learned. We also saw about what are the spots, the burial spots in which how they used to bury the skeleton of a body. These things we have seen in the last chapter. We have also seen regarding the occupations at Inamgaon, how they used to, or what the archaeologists found in Inamgaon, which kind of crops they found, and which kind of animals were being used in those times in Inamgaon. And we also had a study regarding the skeletal studies of our body. How many bones does our skeleton has? These things we have seen in the previous chapter, which is chapter number 4. Today we are going to discuss, yes, as today is 17th of August, chapter 5. So the today's topic from this chapter 5 would be, we would be discussing who are Rajas, uh, which people are called Rajas, who are they, then what is Ashwamedha Yagna, and we are going to see in detail about the description of Ashwamedha Yagna, and also regarding the later Vedic books, what is Vedic books called, what are later Vedic books. So this is what we are going to see in today's lecture. So let's start. Students, as we have seen in the last chapter, that uh, people are being described, and in Rig Veda, people were being described in two groups, that is priests and raja. Okay, so we are right now in this chapter we are talking about those rajas. Okay, first is priest, and other kind of people are called rajas. So that raja, we are going to discuss about those rajas. Okay, so who were rajas. Okay, so initially rajas were chosen by Janas. Okay, they were chosen by Janas, and around 3000 years ago there were changes in way in which rajas were chosen. So rajas means kings, as we can say. Okay, so around 3000 years ago, the way or the method of selecting this raja, or choosing this rajas, were been, means there were some changes in the way in which these rajas were being selected or the chosen. So some men now became recognized as rajas by making some big sacrifices. Which are they? Yeah, so some men were being recognized as rajas by making what? So some of them used to make sacrifices in order to get recognized as Raja. Around this, I'm talking about 3000 years ago. So in those times, some men used to act or used to do some sacrificial activities in order that they may be selected or they may be chosen as Raja. So and then in those times when Raja was been selected in this way, there was the Ashwamedha or horse sacrifices was one of the famous ritual. Okay, they considered it as a famous ritual that Ashwamedha or the horse sacrifice was to sacrifice the horse or Ashwamedha was one of the such important ritual in those times, and a horse was let loose, okay, to wander freely. Means what did they do after the selection of the king? What happened? They in the Yashwamedha Yagna, when as the horses were to be sacrificed, what did they do? They let loose the horse. Means they जैसे घोड़ों को ऐसे ही छोड़ देते थे, okay, and it was guarded by men. So as they were these horses were being freely wandering, as they were let loose, people who let loose this horse, okay, so they had an eye on them, means they guarded them and protected these horses while they were wandering in the various places. So if the horse wandered into the kingdoms of other rajas, so if that Raja who let loose the horse, so if that horse gets into the kingdom of some other Raja, okay, at that time what happens? If that Raja whose kingdom that horse uh, entered, okay, that Raja would stop that horse and would challenge the Raja whose was the horse. Okay, means the I'll explain you a bit in Hindi that yes, मतलब ये राजा जैसा horse को जो भेजते थे, तो what happened, जो राजा के जगह पे ये horse जाता था, that राजा would uh, challenge that raja who sent this horse into their kingdom. So ये दूसरा राजा से वो he used to compete. This is what happened. So he was challenging the raja who was performing this Ashwamedha, and they chose to fight. So this happens when they, as one raja's horse entered the kingdom of another raja. So there had a fight between them. So they used to challenge that raja used to challenge the other raja whose was the horse, okay, and if they allowed the horse to pass, okay, it means that they had accepted the strength and supremacy of the raja who was performing the Ashwamedha. So if they allowed the horse to pass, if the horse passes in this, it means that that raja whose was the kingdom, he would accept the strength of the Raja who was performing this Ashwamedha. So this was the story of Ashwamedha Yagna. Okay, then again what happened as they won the battle, they would, as I already told you, they would accept that Raja who was performing the Ashwamedha, and the Raja who surrendered, okay, were then invited to the sacrifice. So in this way, as they entered the kingdom and won the battle, they would be invited to the sacrifice or sacrificial ceremony. Okay, so the ritual was performed by highly trained priests. So as they won the battle and got into this sacrifice or sacrificial activities as allowed by the other king, okay, then what happened? This ritual was performed by not the Raja. They were performed by highly trained priests who were rewarded with gifts. Okay, so as they performed this sacrificial ceremony, as the priest conducted it, they after this sacrificial ceremony, they were given gifts. The Raja awarded them or rewarded them with gifts. Okay, so thus this act of performing was considered very powerful. What happened? So this act of performing the ritual was being considered very powerful, and the Raja performing it was respected and given gifts by the surrendering Raja. So as they have conducted this ceremony or this sacrifice, this Ashwamedha, okay, as they have conducted this Ashwamedha, what happened? The Raja performing this Ashwamedha was respected, and be he was given gifts by which Raja, by the surrendering Raja, means who allowed them to do this yagna. So he gave the gifts to the Raja who had performed this Ashwamedha. Okay, as it was considered powerful, after this activities or after this yagna, he used to give to the Raja who performed this Ashwamedha yagna. Okay, now let's see a little more detail about or description about this Ashwamedha yagna. Okay, so the Raja was the central figure. Okay, Raja was considered as the main person or was considered a central figure in this ritual. Okay, and he had a special seat over in this, or he had a special throne or a tiger skin. Okay, we can say yeah, he had a throne with a tiger skin, means covered with a tiger skin. Okay, and his charioteer was his companion in the battlefield. So as the Raja was the central figure, there were there was his companion. Who was his companion? Who used to drive his chariot. He is known as charioteer. Who is charioteer? Who used to drive this charioteer. Charioteer means I have already explained you. Chariot means uh, the vehicle which is run by the horse, one horse or two horse. It is known as chariot. Okay, so the person who rides or who drives this chariot is known as charioteer. So this charioteer was his companion, the companion of the king in the battlefield. Okay, and this Raja's relatives, especially wives and son, had to perform many minor rituals. This Raja who performed this Ashwamedha, along with this Raja, his wife and also his sons or children had to perform many minor rituals along with this Raja. Okay, and the other Rajas, okay, who were not performing this Ashwamedha, means who they used to watch the performance of the sacrifice. Okay, so the Raja who was performing this, he was a central figure. He was having a special seat with throne of tiger skin, and charioteer was a companion. And the along with this Raja, his wives and relatives also used to perform these rituals. Okay, while some other Rajas, okay, to where these Raja went for performing this Ashwamedha, that Rajas were simply spectators, means they used to sit and watch this performance of the sacrifice. Okay, and as I have told, priests perform the rituals, so they also sprinkled what they performed in these ways, means they perform by sprinkling sacred water on the forehead or on the Raja. Okay, and the ordinary people, as we have seen in the last chapter, who are known as ordinary people, they are known as Vish. Okay, the ordinary people are known as Vish or Vaishya. So this along with the other Rajas who were watching this performance, there were many other ordinary people also who came to watch this, and they also brought some gifts. Okay, who are known as Vish or Vaishya. Okay, and some people regarded as Shudras by the priest were excluded from many rituals. And there were certain kind of people who were known as Shudras. So we will learn later about this, who are known as Shudras. That we will learn later in this coming lecture. Okay, so yes, so these Shudra people were totally been excluded, means they were not allowed uh, to be participant in this ritual. So this is what kind of how this Ashwamedha Yagna took place. Yeah, this was the description of Ashwamedha Yagna. So as I have told, one more topic that we will discuss today is regarding the later Vedic books. So we are going to discuss about what are these later Vedic books. So in this period, there were many books that was composed in North India. Okay, there are many books that were composed in North India. Means as we can see, especially in the areas where drained by Ganga and Yamuna. Okay, so there were certain books. Okay, this we are learning in page number 47. We are discussing in page number 47 of the textbook from that Varnas, that portion, the beginning of the paragraph. That is what we are discussing right now. So later Vedic books. So this is the last topic for today. Tomorrow we'll continue this. Okay. So now let's discuss about later Vedic books. So in this period, there many books were being composed in North India. Especially we can say the areas where the drained by the Ganga and Yamuna area of the rivers, uh, area that was been drained by the river Ganga and Yamuna. And these books were often called which books? Later Vedic. Okay. Why these books were written in the North India? Okay, so where the rivers drained certain land. In those land or in those area, these books were being composed, which is known as in North India. So that's why they were, but they were. What was the name of those books that were written or that was composed in North India? They were known as later Vedic. So why? What is the reason why they were called later Vedic? Because they were composed after the Rig Veda. As we have already seen in the previous chapter, there were many kinds of books. Means that there were four kinds of book that we have learned about. Okay, which were they? Which were the four kinds of books that we learned? That was Rig Veda, okay, Samveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. These were the kinds of books. Okay, but these books, these later Vedic books, were being composed after the Rig Veda was composed. And this later Vedic books included which kind of books? They were Samveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvaveda. So as we have discussed in previous chapter, there were four kinds of books. So among that four books, the three books, that is Samveda, Yajurveda, and Atharvaveda. These books were known as later Vedic books. Why? Because they were composed after Rig Veda. So these are the three kinds of later Vedic books, and as well as there were certain other books also. Okay, which were there that books, which were the other books along with Samveda, Yajurveda, and Atharveda, that were the books which were composed by the priest, and the books that described how rituals were to be performed, and also it was the books that contained, those were the books that contained rules about society. So these are the kind of the later Vedic books that was been composed, and this is the last topic for today. From tomorrow, we'll discuss about little more. We'll discuss about what is society and Varnas, who are Brahmins, who are Kshatriyas, Vish and Vaishyas, that we are going to study in detail in the coming lecture. So I hope that you understood. Now read the portion for today. As we have explained, you have to read page number 46 and 47 up to that Varna's first paragraph. Okay, up to that Varna's first paragraph in page number 47. Up to there, you have to read thoroughly. Okay. Now, but after watching this video only, you have to read. First of all, you have to read the textbook, then go through the points that I make you understand. Or anyhow you can do. Or first you can watch the video, then you can go through the textbook. I think that would be easy, so that it will make little more easier for you to understand. Okay. So until then, read the textbook properly. And if you have any doubts, you can contact me at any time. I will clear as your doubts as well as possible. Okay. So thank you. God bless.